Stone Paxton Music and Life, welcome to my channel. For all those that are not subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit like, and also make sure you hit that bell to get the notifications for all my latest videos. What's up, you guys? Stone Paxton Music and Life podcast, the couch, but of course I'm not on the couch, you guys. I'm here in my studio, which is probably where I'm going to be filming a lot of that. If I have a guest, maybe sometimes on the couch, if not, in the chair. So maybe we should change that name. Stone Paxton Music and Life, the chair. We're going to keep it as a couch, you guys. Listen, the subject that you see at the top, should I say not the subject, but the topic that you see at the top of this YouTube post or Instagram or TikTok or whatever is the music industry dead? Now, this is a question that I get asked all the time by different artists that I deal with and that I work with, or random artists that email me, random artists that consult with me. They ask me this question. And most of them ask me this question because they know that I've had my own record label since 1994, Prodigy Records. They also know that I've been putting out records as an independent label since 1994. They also know that I've had publishing deals as a producer and writer under major companies through the years. So I've been in the trenches, you guys. So when people ask me these questions, they're seeking an answer. Sorry if you heard that, me bump the microphone. They ask these questions, they're seeking answers from me. And I try to do my best to give them the answers that I feel are going to not just soothe their thoughts at that moment, but the answers that are going to answer the questions with a definite understanding and help them bypass some of the mistakes that I might have made or other artists through the years have made. Is the music industry dead? It's such a complicated question that will deliver multiple answers by many different people, you know. It's kind of like you ask a person a question about something, they might give you 10 different answers. So when you ask someone, and it's depending on who you ask, if you ask most people if the music industry is dead, they're probably going to tell you yes. If they haven't made any money off of it, they're going to say, yeah, the music industry is dead. And then there's some that's going to go, no, the music industry is not dead. What I will tell you is this. There are a lot of things that have been added. And you notice I took that long little pause because I'm just thinking about some of the things that have made the music industry so complicated and has caused the bottom line of the music industry to kind of fall out and drop out. And you got to think about what I'm saying. I mean, I'll give you a few scenarios to think about as I'm unpacking this conversation. When people say the music industry is dead, it's usually because that is coming from major record labels who are basing the industry being dead on the type of money they used to make. Okay, so remember that. Typically, the major labels are going to base the music industry being dead off of the money they are used to making. So if you, as an individual person or somebody watching this has a company, a business, and you're for 60 years, you've made millions and millions of dollars. And then all of a sudden, those, $100 million, now you're only making, maybe $1 million or $2 million, or maybe 10 million, right? This is just a short analogy of what I'm trying to say to you. So as a corporate company, to you, that's a failure because your per capita or your initial breakdown of what your yearly analysis of what you expect to make, your target of what you expect to make that you usually hit. Now you're not hitting that target. And so to you, because you look at what you're spending, right? You look at the output money to spend on marketing. So a major label looks at what they're spending on marketing and promotions. They're looking at what they spend on tour support. They're looking at the advances they give to artists. And when they don't see those recoupable, and especially if the books are not cooked, and we're talking about real recoupables, right? Then they go, oh, we're not making the money we used to make. And hang, the music industry is dead. Now we got to lay off these many people. Now we have to lay off these many employees. Now we can't sign as many artists. Now we have to be careful with the budgets we spend. Now we have to cut back on the tour support money that we spend to keep artists on the road to make us more money. Excuse me, you guys. So when people say the music industry is dead, understand this is not coming from artists. This is coming from the financiers. This is coming from the people on the money side who watch the money, who spend the money, who calculate the money, who budget the money. This is coming from the economic side. And they're looking at the numbers and going, man, this is pretty bad right now. This is pretty bad right now. Now, if you ask me as an individual, do I think the music industry is dead? I will tell you absolutely not. And I'll tell you why as I continue to unpack this. When you invest a lot of money, you expect a lot of money back. Okay? So an independent artist can actually survive. They can survive how can I say, they can weather the storm eating rice and noodles. But the major companies can't. I mean, if you've been watching the major labels and all the layoffs that they've done within the last 2-3 years, all the way up to now, and they will continue, this will continue to happen. And then those people at the major labels, I mean, you know, the cost of running their company, they have no choice. They have to get rid of some of those executives. I was about to say all, but some of them, because they're not making that money they were making before, right? So once again, they add all these things together. They look at what an artist was making 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago versus now. We used to have the physical record sales during the days of vinyl, during the days of CD sales and physical album sales. Now, if you get 1,000 downloads, you can break into Billboard. Just to show you, just to give you an idea of what's really happening and how artists are not selling, physical records are not selling. You can sell 1,000 records and break into Billboard, you know, top 100. I mean, you could get 1,500 downloads and break into Billboard top 100. You know, I mean, think about that. And I'm talking about in a market where there's tons of other major artists that an independent artist would compete with. But if on Tuesday, when new releases come out, or Thursday, when records are submitted and, you know, you're shooting to try to make the iTunes top 100 or Billboard, and you get 1,500 downloads, you making Billboard. And as long as you stay on that chart week and a half, and iTunes, and you got them sales consistently, and you beat everybody out that week, any major artists that are not making that many download sales during that week, you will make Billboard. That's a fact. I'm just telling you the truth, right? So what's my point? What's my point? My point is there was a time you had to sell, you know, out the box, 10, 15, 20,000 to break into Billboard with radio airplay. Those times have changed now because artists are not selling like they used to. Now, it's a double-edged sword with this. If all artists right now decided to go straight independent and said, you know what, we're going to cut out record labels. We're done. We're not going to deal with record labels no more. We're going to be straight up independent. Straight up independent. Independent of any majors, right? This would never happen, by the way. But if artists were smart enough to come to their senses and say, you know what? Yeah, we're going to cut all the majors out. We're going to cut all the majors out and just do us. There is a revolution that could possibly happen for independent artists, but it would take all those independent artists to come together and create that revolution. You know, you have artists complain about money. You have artists complain about them not making the money they want to make. Meanwhile, the labels are saying the music industry is dead, but yet they're still in business. And yet they're still coming up with ideas to try to keep themselves in the business, right? So people say the music industry is dead, but the music industry isn't quite dead. It's dead based on, I think people are misunderstanding when they say dead. I know they're really saying the numbers are dead, because the music industry isn't dead. It's clear that it isn't. I mean, people will continue to, even when the economy is bad. Berry Gordy used to have this thing, they say, where he used to do this test when he would test the songs. He would tell them, if it's the last dollar you had and you had to get this song or eat, would you pick this song? Which song? And they would do that, I guess, to figure out what songs were the best songs out of the songs they were releasing as singles. And he would tell them, which song would you pick if you had your last dollar and you had to get food? Would you pick this record or would you eat? Which would be that song? That was a little test he used to do, right? So, now in the music industry, you have the majors who kind of create the narrative, they control the media outlets in some sort of way because they have the money to influence what conversations go into those magazines, what topics. So people will believe what they see, what they hear. Do I believe the music industry is dead? Absolutely not. Do I believe the music industry is dead when it comes to financial parts of it? I do. I know some of the money is not there like it used to be. I know artists are not making. You got a lot of struggling major artists. There's a lot of major artists with big hits that are struggling. I mean, and it's because the structure that was set up for their copyright, their publishing, and for them to continue to cut records, it costs money to cut records. The average artist don't have a facility to cut records in. The average artists don't have the facility. The average artists are not producing their own records. The average artists are not writing their own records. That's what brings the overhead costs down, which means that now you have mostly profit when it's time to put it out, especially when you're on your own studio. Like I write, arrange, produce, cut all my own records. My overhead cost is low. Basically none. My power bill is the only overhead cost, right? So the average artist has tons of hidden costs when they sign with a major record label, right? They have the production. They got to pay the producer. They got to pay the writers. Some producers might be $3,000 for a track. Some might be $50,000, $60,000. Everybody's not the same, right? The artists need clothes. They need a place to live while they're cutting the records. The record company fronts that money, right? By the time the artist makes money, they owe so much money back. Then they got to go on tour, and then they got to pay their manager maybe anywhere from 10 to 15%, right? They got to pay the band. You understand what I'm saying? And if they have an agent, they have to pay the agent. Sometimes you'll see an agent get paid and a manager get paid. So when you hear people saying the music industry is dead, it's based on the numbers, not the artistry, nor is it based on the music. I want you artists to understand that. It's not based on the music. And I think, now that I think back of that thing Berry Gordy used to do with the whole, if you had your last dollar, would you choose the song or the dollar? What's the best song? You pick the best song. Because think about that analogy. Berry Gordy knew that no matter what, music supersedes money, because music is connected to emotions. Music is connected to an experience, a relationship, a marriage, happiness, sadness. And that goes beyond, that surpasses money. It really does. An emotion surpasses money all day long, because people be broke and still listening to their favorite song. And these songs help them get through. Sometimes a song will help them get through. Sometimes a song can inspire a person to even do better and make more money. Sometimes a song can inspire a person to be negative. So I like Berry Gordy's thinking, that applied thinking to money versus the song. Money versus the song. Pick If your last dollar and you needed to eat, would you pick the song or the money to go get something to eat? And I feel like major record labels are so used to making the money that they've forgotten that the song and the feeling that people get when they hear the song is what generates that money. And maybe they could just figure out how to restructure these portions of the industry so that they don't have to feel like it is dead. They don't have to feel like they have to say that about an industry that have put their kids through college. Every executive that has been paid tons of money have put their children in college and have lived great. So when these narratives that are created from labels, because it's coming from labels, the music industry is dead. That's something that comes from the inside. It's not coming from the outside, because there's no way an outside person would know that. How do I know? I'm on the inside. That's an inside statement. But those same people are still trying to make money from the music industry. Here's my concept. The music industry will never be dead. The music industry sales might drop here and there based on their numbers. Releases might be slow to come out based on their budgets, based on an artist's budget, if they have the money to cut a record or not. Because remember, an artist has to live, survive, and cut a record. If the budget's not there, they might have to go get a regular job. These are the real realities of being in the music industry when an artist depends so much on a label. They start to believe that the music industry is dead when they don't see money from streaming, when they don't see money from publishing, when they don't see money from mechanicals, and they're only seeing money from their live performances. It'll make an artist feel like an artist will go, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with the music industry. So if I create a narrative, think about this here. If I'm a label and I tell you, hey man, the music industry's dead, could it possibly be I'm trying to rewrite a narrative so that I can revalue? And it's kind of like real estate. Whenever they go into urban areas, they will devalue that urban area. Detroit, they devalue the hell out of Detroit. You could have bought property in Detroit, no lie, with a house on it at one point 10, 15 years ago for $500. And I'm not making this up. They devalued the urban areas in Detroit. And as soon as those people were no longer there, people came in and started buying it up, right? Buying it up. And then revalued it. Go through downtown Detroit and look how beautiful it is. And people walking around, nice bicycles. And, you feel like you're in, Alpine Valley somewhere. Just a really beautiful place. And nobody has any worries. They're riding bikes at night. Detroit didn't used to be like that, but they devalued it and revalued it. So what if, think about what I'm saying. Take this for instance, and I'm sorry I keep clearing my throat. Just take a moment and think about what I'm about to say. This is kind of deep because it just really dropped into my spirit. What if there was a bigger picture to this? And this was all by design. This was all by design to make everybody think that the music industry is dead. I mean, it would be a cold piece of way to really, really get an artist to believe it's dead and to get them to go sell their catalogs. Because look, are you seeing everybody selling their catalog? If I make you feel like the music industry is dead, wouldn't you want to sell your catalog? I'm just saying. I'm only saying things that make sense to me. I'm not a conspiracy person. I just see it for what it is. And it's kind of strange that we would say the music industry is dead. We would hear this, and then we see all these artists selling their full catalogs. So could there be a devalue and revalue situation going on in the music industry? Could there be? Because why would you say it's dead, but you're still making money off of it and you're still putting releases out? I mean, hell, if I think there's something that is no longer valuable, I'm done with it. Finito. So why would we think the music industry is dead? And where is that coming from? It's not coming from the rappers on the street. It's not coming from the singers. It's not coming from no rock band saying that. This is coming from the insiders. higher up, the music industry is dead. Because if I make you think the music industry is dead, when I approach you to buy your catalog, you're more than willing to sell. Because I've made you think there's no value in it. And if you don't sell now, well, hell, you might not be able to get nothing for it later. Hey, man, we're trying to give you an offer. The music industry will never be dead. Artists, I'm going to give you some advice. If every artist in the world woke up tomorrow, put together their own websites, that everybody's so scared of themselves and they don't believe in themselves enough to go put their own website together, bring your fans directly to your site. I mean, you know, I'm giving you game. I'm just giving you the advice. Bring your fans directly to your site. If you have fans, if you have real fans, you don't even need to be on Spotify or iTunes. You can bring your fans directly to your site. But I'm going to tell you why most artists are not going to do that. They're not going to do that because they're lazy. They're not going to do that because they don't want to go push to get followings, or most of them don't have followings. They're not going to do that because to have your own site, you have to maintain it, pay attention to it, and you got to be a business person. You got to be a record company. These days, artists, we got to be record companies. Every artist got to be their own record company. Or when they say the music industry is dead, then that definitely will apply to you because it'll be dead for you. But it's not dead. But it'll be dead for you because you're not willing to do the work to put the focus on yourself as an artist. You can bring your fans to your website. They can download your records just like they would Spotify, iTunes, anywhere. They can buy the records directly from you. You don't have to. I mean, when I put out an album, I'm going to be honest. All right, you guys, sorry about that little breakaway. But anyway, when I put out an album, I don't just put out the digital version. I put out the physical version. It's my physical album. These still sell in Australia, Spain, and Amsterdam. I have every album I put out, I have a physical. And I have vinyl. I've been doing this for years. It's nothing new. When artists were not doing vinyl, I've been doing vinyl. Artists, the music industry is not dead. Musicians, the music industry is not dead. It's only dead if we do not take the initiative to focus on ourselves and put into ourselves. It might be dead for the major companies. It might be dead for the major corporations because they're not making their bottom line. But if you got 1,000 fans, 500 fans, you can survive as an artist. You don't need anything bigger than that to survive. And it's only going to grow. You got 1,000 fans. You keep dropping records. They love them. They keep supporting you. You're creating your own tours. You're getting out there. You're sending them directly to your website. You're making money. The music industry will never be dead. I don't really care what nobody says. There's just no way possible it will be dead. It might be dead for the majors because financially, once again, it's like taking it and pulling things apart, like you're pulling some string cheese apart. They're feeling like they're being pulled apart. But at the same time, I will say this again. Explain to me why you see so many artists dumping their catalogs. It's something to think about. Because if I tell you the industry is dead, that means I'm making you feel like if I was to come to you and tell you, hey, your property is not worth anything, better get out now because in 6 months, we won't even be able to give you a check for it. Right now is a good time to sell. Right now. This is what they do with gentrification. This is what they do with gentrification across the country. They make people feel like the area they live in is devalued, it's not worth it. Nobody's going to build on it right now. So, yeah, really, it's only worth this much. Well, I bought my house at $2.4 million. Yeah, but right now, you'd be lucky to get $100,000 for it. And then if you wait too long, it's not even going to be worth that. Yeah, so we're willing to give you $80,000. Well, you just told me it's worth at least $100,000. We'll give you $80,000 today. To me. And I just want you guys to continue to watch the future and remember what I just said to you. To me, there is a devalue thing happening, not a conspiracy. And I'm taking my time because my mind is running as I'm saying this. There is a devalue movement happening, but it's coming within. Because once again, if I make you think that the music industry is dead, I also can get you to sell me your catalog. I also can get you to come up off that catalog. Man, listen, I'll give you $100 million for everything now. All your greatest hits. You're going, what, $100 million? Shit. Okay, $100 million, I could stretch that out. I mean, that's money today. That's like the lottery. I'll go ahead and cash out. I can write more songs. That's what the average artist think. I can write more. $100 million. They got these crazy, super incredible catalogs generating them tons of money. And then they get approached with, hey, man, the industry is, it's dying. It's a dying industry. I'm sorry. It's the dying industry. No, it's a dying industry for them. It is a dying industry for them, not for the artist. Don't believe the hype, as Flavor Flav would say. It's a dying industry for them, not for the artist at all. Think about it. Yes, it does cost to cut records. It does. I'm not going to say it doesn't. Yes, it does cost for studio time, but it still doesn't mean it's a dying industry. It just means the money they pay you, you're not recouping because they're not spending the marketing dollars to promote you, which of course you're not going to make money if somebody signs you and they're not spending marketing dollars to promote you. What's going to happen? The album is going to not do well. And if it's going to be that scenario, why not just take a chance on yourself and go to a bank, get a business loan, and put money into yourself and your own company, and there you go. If you're going to owe somebody money, owe the bank the money. Why owe somebody that's going to also own your masters and your publishing when you walk away and then you got to fight and hope to God that that gets reverted back to you at a period of time? No, the music industry is not dead. It's only dead for them. It's not dead for you, indie artist. It's not dead for you, musician. It's not dead for you, independent record label. The music industry is not dead. These still actually sell. The vinyl I have I got tons of vinyl that's in Japan, Amsterdam, Spain, in stores, in physical stores. My vinyl. And it still sells. People order it. Why are people still ordering vinyl? Why are people still ordering physical albums? I don't know. Tell me. What do you guys think? Does that sound like the music industry is dead? No, it doesn't. There's still a niche for independent record labels. No matter what happens, no matter what moves the majors make, you redirect your fans to you. You control your industry. You are your own music industry. You are your own record label. Redirect your fans to you. The music industry is not dead, and it will never be dead. Let me reiterate that again. The music industry will never be dead as long as there's people making music and there's artists that are rapping and singing and doing rock music and country and R&B and funk and hip hop. The music industry will never be dead. Problem is how does artists get their money? You got to take control of your career. You got to grab it and pull it in and control it. Redirect your career to you. Build your own website. Bring your fans directly to you, to your website. The music industry is not dead. Once again, I feel it's somewhat of a gentrification in the music industry going on, devaluing of the product, making people think that there's no value to it so they can buy it up and revalue it again. And the artists look up and go, they gave me $100 million, but man, they made zillions off of my stuff. Oh my God. And then the artist gets it later like, dang, I should have never sold it. Well, you got your $100 million, what you wanted. You don't need to worry about it now. But if I devalue or make you feel like it's devalued, then I can revalue it, right? I can get everybody to sell to me, right? Come on now, use you guys' brains, man. Everybody, I want you to think about what I just said. Look at how real estate works. Look at how urban areas are devalued through gentrification and then bought up and revalued again. Same properties for almost 10 times more than they were initially. So, is the music industry dead? Absolutely not. Don't believe the hype, artists. Take control of your career, labels, artists, musicians. Direct your fans directly to you. Keep your costs low. Your profit margin is high as an independent record artist. If you record your records, produce them right, you have a lot of room for profit. You have a lot of room to make money. Physical. Direct your fans directly to that. CDs, vinyl, your T-shirts, your website. Bring them directly to you. You don't need nobody's help. You can go get an investment from a bank and put into your record company. The music industry is not dead, and that's a fact. Stone Paxton Music and Life, I thank you guys for stopping in again. Thank you to all of you that have been tuning into my channel and for the music side. Hit that bell notification to get all the videos that I drop. Like, subscribe, and share. And, man, I appreciate the love again. Stone Paxton Music and Life, you guys. And I am out, and I'll catch you on the next video. And we're going to keep coming together, and we're going to continue to make way for independent artists and labels and musicians. All right, let's go. Peace and love. Stone Paxton Music and Life.